All right, it's October 26th, 2021. We're back here at that back road, and as you can see there, everything's pretty much grown back. So here I am again, trying to keep that stuff at bay. But the most effective way to keep the weeds down is to have something grow in its place. So what we're gonna do here is, after I cut this, if you don't remember, there's a little berm that goes along the side here. And there are already some plants there. This plant is called the aibika plant, also referred to as the pele. But I'm gonna grow those plants all along that right side there. I'm gonna go ahead cut this down. We'll go grab some cuttings and we'll put them into place, and hopefully we can get them to pop up some new shoots. And as soon as we see those shoots, we know they'll take off. Then we'll start cleaning until they eventually create a canopy of their own to kind of take over the space. All right, so right here in front of us, if you could see this plant here, this is the aibika, and we've got another cutting growing over there. So we've got some here and there. If you look down this way, you can see some right here. I don't want it to be too thick because it kind of gets hard for the weed eater to get in there without cutting the base of the plant. So I do want some space, maybe at least 3 or 4 feet in between the cuttings so that I can get in there. But if not, I can get in there with the loppers or just come and sit down on a crate or something and weed it by hand. But like I said, we'll go ahead and cut this down, and then we'll get some cuttings and come back and grow it. Right here in front of us, as you can see all these sticks over here, that's a good example of what was planted before. So a lot of it didn't get to grow out because, as you can see back here, look how tall this grass is, and it just basically was over all of this stuff here, growing inside of it and on this side, which effectively blocked the sunlight from the aibika plants. But now that it's cut back, we need to make sure it stays cut back so that we don't have that problem with stunted growth. But a lot of these cuttings are already dead, so I got to pull out a whole bunch of them, but some of them managed to make it. So we'll go ahead and salvage those and leave them, let them grow. As big as this one back here, you can see there's some big ones down here, but we're gonna have to pull out all those dead cuttings. That way we can see where we need to plant. So we'll go ahead and get that done too, and then we got to go over and get our cuttings. All right, so the method of planting those is basically making a actually about 1.5 to 2 foot cutting and just sticking it right into the soil. It's 6:08 p.m. and the sun is now going down, and we just managed to complete this little project here for the time being. We'll leave these cuttings here for maybe a month, and then we'll come back to see if any of them have taken. I'm sure some of them will and some of them probably won't, but for those that don't make it, we'll just replant again and make sure we have one that's actually growing, so that like I said, we can try and keep the weeds from growing by allowing the aibika to grow in its stead. All right, so today is January 13th, 2022. This road is horrible. So this road is in great need of repair, and I'm gonna have to work on that later. But you can see everything is overgrown on this side, and I do not know if any of the cuttings that were planted made it, but today's going to be the day that we find out, because I got to cut all this back down to expose those aibika plants, and hopefully at least half of them survived. But I'll cut this down. That'll be the task of the day, because I got to get back and pick up the kids from school here in a couple of hours. So got about 2 hours to get this done. All right, so just got done cutting that. That took about maybe an hour and a half. And it's as I suspected. About half of the cuttings died because those weeds just got so big they blocked out the sun from getting to those cuttings. But thankfully, I think about half, or maybe a little bit more than half, survived. So hopefully we can continue to keep this little stretch right here maintained, so that they can get big, just like these bigger ones that you can see right here. All right, it is March 11th, 2022, and it's been about a month and a half, and you can see how tall this grass has gotten once again. So I'm always procrastinating, and it always gets to the point where it winds up being this long. So we got to do harder than usual cutting and spend more time out here doing this stuff rather than doing other things around the farm. So we'll go ahead and get back to it, cut this stuff down, and work on giving this belly a chance to grow. All right, so I've got the grass cut, and I'm glad I finally got that done, because it's long overdue. But I'll come back tomorrow, and we're going to replant some aibika cuttings. Hopefully we can get this area right here to be full aibika trees with full foliage. That way it can kind of cut off all the growth beneath it. It's April 12th, 2022, and we're back here to the back road to do some work. As you can see, everything has gotten just as long as it was in the beginning. We'll go ahead and get this cut, and if we have some time, we'll go ahead and cut back this way. Let's get it. All right, so it's the next day, April 13th, 2022, and as you can see, this is where we got up to yesterday. So we'll go ahead and continue to work our way down this way and get this finished. I've got about an hour's worth of time, and I think that's well more than enough to suffice. So let's get to it. All right, so finally managed to finish this side, and I think that's actually going to be it for this video. It's just going to take way too long. We'll come back in the future to see the berm starts here, and this is the first cutting. I know it's very hard to see, but there's actually a cutting right there, and it's dead. So I probably have about 10 cuttings that I need to bring out here and put all along this little berm right here that goes down, because like I said in the beginning, we want to fill this out so that it actually kind of stops all these weeds from constantly growing. I know it'll take some time, but I'm confident that it will eventually fill this area out, and we won't have to worry about the weeds so much. But I know I'm going to have to do this for maybe another 2 or 3 months until it actually fills out, and I need to stay on top of it, because cutting it when it's gotten to the point that it was when I cut it just now is not good at all. We need to stay on top of this, and I definitely need to be more proactive about that. But like I said, I'm going to end this video here, and we'll come back in the future maybe sometime to see what this area looks like when all the aibika have pretty much grown in.